Good morning. This is the last time I get to say, I am your sabbatical minister, Mary Ellen Morgan. Me too. Will you join me in a moment of prayer and reflection? Spirit of life and love, we come here today in gratitude and thanks for this congregation, for this group of souls who gather together to build a better world right here in Redwood City. We believe that those ripples that start here will move out through the town, the county, the state, and the world. For what we do here is good and right and builds the beloved community as an example for all to see. Thank you for this chance to gather together with like-minded folks. Please join me in a moment of meditation.
And now, for my reflection, a love poem. If I should think the world of you, entailing all the seas, my thoughts should stray from holding true, and leave you as the waters do, which ebb so when they please. If I should think you heaven's peer, with all the stars in train, my thought should find your starry sphere, grow dim as 13 times a year, the glowing moon may wane. If I should think you nothing worth, and spy you once at all, my thought, but from that little birth, should grow until both heaven and earth, compared with you, were small. Thus heaven and earth and nothingness cannot with you compare. Should you then bid my thought assess, your constant virtue, my distress, would scarcely have me dare. But should I think in this extreme, and find the worst I thought, I should conceive you like a dream, which ever alters while its theme forever holds my thought.
Well, here it is. My last service as your sabbatical minister. In some ways, I feel as if all the work I've done here with you has come down to this moment. My time to say goodbye and thank you. I don't have to tell you the time has gone fast. Last spring, it felt to me in some ways as a continuation of my time here as your ministerial intern. But I could not deny that I was no longer a student. Well, not in the formal sense anyway, since I'd graduated. I realized at the start that I would still learn from you, and precisely because my role had changed. I was very aware that I was just borrowing this pulpit for a few months, and that the course you'd set with Brian would still be moving forward, as it should. How could I hold that space in a way that was meaningful, considerate, and sacred? And what could I contribute to a congregation that does church really well? Let me tell you what I've learned about you and, by extension, myself. I said that you do church well, from worship to music to wonderful tech on Sundays. And you know how to welcome and bring people in. Although your enthusiasm bowled me over at first, I knew it came from a good place. There is so much that happens seamlessly behind the scenes, more than what you see on Sundays. But you seem to know when to jump in and help and when to just trust that church is being handled and handled well. It helps that you have a fabulous staff. I know I've said that before, but know that I've worked at many of our churches and churches of other denominations, and I'm so impressed with our staff and their skill and dedication, and frankly, their passion for serving you. I'm also really impressed with your leadership. Serving here as I have for 2 years, I've seen 3 different boards. Their thoughtful and compassionate discussions around issues in front of this church is to be admired, no matter who is sitting in those chairs. Question them. Disagree with them, respectfully, of course. Engage them around church life, but support them. They are members of this congregation first and lead out of love and a willingness to serve you and Unitarian Universalism. Your fellow congregants are so passionately involved in the issues, both here in Redwood City, but extending out to San Mateo County, the state of California, and of course the country. When we needed a set of resources to share with those members of our community that arrive here looking for help, the Social Action Committee found printed resources of organizations in San Mateo County in both English and Spanish that we could hand out to help those in need. And that's just one example. So many of you serve in so many ways. I've seen members of the congregation walking by the planters on Lowell Street who'll stop to pull some weeds or sometimes pull out a ladder to clean out a clogged gutter. You check in with each other, making sure to walk with those who are hurting and suffering a loss. These sound like small gestures, but they are just ways that you take the initiative to take care of your house and each other. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, this is just what we do. It's who we are. That's true. It's being part of a community where your contributions serve the good of the whole. When I'd moved to California as a single woman and wanted to make friends and find a community to ground me, I went to church. I naively asked the minister, where can I be of most help here? Oh, he had lots of suggestions. But as a result, I was plunged into life of the congregation right away, and those folks are still an important part of my life, even though they're in Southern California. So I challenge you, if you want a deeper connection to this community, get involved. Sometimes more than you ever thought you would want or need to. You may wake up one day so surprised at what's happened to your life. Well, I'll leave the rest of that to your imagination. Unitarian Universalism does not ask us to commit ourselves to a creed or a set of beliefs. It asks us to bring our best selves, our love and dedication to a set of values that are centered in love. I want to share a couple of readings with you. Our board president, Elisa Neep, used these as opening and closing words at our last board meeting, and I was quite taken with how they speak to who we are as a congregation. Toward Constructive Joy was written based on the musings of Bertrand Russell. And although this talks about board work, I think it can be applied to all of the work we do here. Bertrand Russell wrote that happiness does not come from passive amusement, but from the deep well of meaningful work. From the effort to build, to think, to serve something greater than oneself. Today we gather to do just that. In this meeting, we make choices not only about budgets and bylaws, but about the future we imagine and the responsibilities we are willing to share to bring that future closer. May this flame that we kindle now remind us, even in mundane motions and messy amendments, there's a quiet courage of community. There is possibility of happiness, earned not by escape, but by engagement. And for the closing word, she used Companions in Covenant by Craig Rowland. As we extinguish this flame, let us carry its glow into the choices ahead. Happiness grows not from comfort, but from connection, from feeling valued to ourselves and others, from enlarging our sympathies, from embracing a life of affection and purpose. So let these meetings together not end in exhaustion, but in quiet triumph, the kind that comes from showing up, from listening deeply, from shaping the world, however slightly, with compassion and intent. We go forward not alone, but as companions in covenant, tending to the common good, with hope, with humor, and with heart. End quote. I think these words illustrate why we come here and why we've decided to pledge our time and energy to this place. You are all companions in covenant. Now, how have I been changed by my work with you? I've learned to listen first. When my training as a director of administration in my former life was to fix things, I've learned to give space and support for those who make the decisions, who will carry the work forward after I leave here. I also came to realize that a person's story was important to them, and it wasn't my job to correct it or take it from them. Mostly what I've learned from this time with you, that I am more passionate, more sure that I want to serve this faith as a congregational minister, and that's because of you. I will take with me the wonderful example of how you do church and how it can look to our surrounding community and our shared faith. Finally, thank you doesn't seem sufficient, but it will have to do. To the glory of Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Redwood City and to life. Amen.